that is going to conclude this video. And drum roll please. At the end of the month, through the ups and downs, I ended with 4. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Happy New Year. First thing I want to say, apart from that, it has begun the new series on my YouTube channel where my goal is to turn $1,000 into $10,000. I am doing this to show you that you don't need a lot of money to be able to make money in trading. Starting out with $1,000 is definitely something that most people can do. I don't want to underestimate the value of money, but I believe that is a number that a lot of people can manage. And I'm not saying that you have to start with $1,000 because you could definitely start with less. I've heard stories of different traders who have started with numbers such as $250 and turned that into a lot more. So either way, the new series has begun. We are officially in the new year. I am recording this right now on January 1st, which means the start of the new series. I'm actually going to start a screen recording right now on my phone, which I will have show up in this video, where I show you that I have deposited the funds into my account and show you that I am on a live account. As you can see here, I am showing you right now, it says my name and then it says Forest.com live. If I go into history, as you can see, there's $1,000 deposited, and in my trade, as you can see, it says balance, equity, and free margin $1,000, which means that the funds are there. And I'm going to start officially on January 2nd because the market is closed today on January 1st. I'm extremely excited for this, honestly. I've been thinking about it for a while now. I am also going to do the recap for the last week of December in the demo account, where I will be showing you exactly how much profit I made in the month of December, which is regarded as one of the worst months to trade overall during the year because of the volume that there is in the market. Not a lot of people are trading. A lot of people are just enjoying their profits from the year or enjoying their time with their families. But I'm going to break down the trades that I had for this last week, which wasn't that many because I stuck to my strategy. I don't believe I diverted from it at all this week, which showed discipline that I am trying to carry over into this live account. But before I get into the actual recap of this week's trades, I want to say, make sure that you make this year the best year of your life. I'm going to document this year as much as I can because I owe that to you guys, honestly, and I owe it to myself as a way to see my growth and just see how I can prove myself right. I can prove to myself that I am the person I say I am, but I will also see myself fail, which is very important in this because the amount of mistakes I made in the month of December in trading were, I can't even give you the correct number, but they were extremely vital to my growth. And that is exactly what this series has helped me do, and what the $1,000 to $10,000 series will help me do in the future, because you're going to see the ups and the downs of trading and whatever is in between. One thing I will say, I will take out the first $100 because it is going to be significant to this trading account and to this YouTube series. Honestly, I am very excited for this series. I'm very excited for this new year, but the first $100 profit that I make, I will withdraw, and I will talk about it in whatever video it ends up being, because I want to show everybody that it is tangible, that you can do it, and you always got to secure the profits. So apart from that, it is going to take me a little getting used to this trading account size, since I've been getting used to the $100,000 demo account. But once I get past all these minor differences between a live account and a demo account, I can guarantee success, because I am not going to quit at this. I am very good when it comes to my mindset, and it is not like I am trading with a chip on my shoulder, I guess you can say, even though I am, because I am trying to turn this into a full-time thing in terms of just making these YouTube videos and trading, apart from the other stuff I have in business and investing, because this is something that I'm very passionate about. Not only the trading, but like I said, the filmmaking and everything coming full circle. And this year is going to be crazy. 2023 was definitely the best year of my life so far. I grew so much, not only physically, as you can see, I'm fucking yoked, all natural, baby, fucking Chad, mentally in terms of knowledge, and spiritually as well. I've just been putting a lot of work in on myself, and I'm going to continue doing that, because your level of success will never exceed your level of personal development. But that is enough of me yapping. This video is not going to be too long, because like I said, I didn't have too many trades this past week, and with New Year's, the volume wasn't crazy. Either way, let's get right into it. Let's go. Oh, and I will also save how much I made for the end of the video, because I honestly believe that if it wasn't December, I would have made a lot more, but can't be mad. I was very profitable this month in terms of just sticking to my trade strategies. As much as I deviated from them, it did not hurt me in the long run with having only one negative week out of the whole month. And that goes to show that having one negative day, one negative week, one negative month does not mean that you're unprofitable. You can still end the year profitable, and you can also end the week profitable if you're having a bad trade or a couple bad trades during the week. It just depends on how you trade and your risk management. But so Tuesday the 26th, I have 3 screenshots from that day, meaning I had 3 different positions. So one of the trades I lost $337.23. That trade I don't remember exactly what ended up happening, but it was a buy 10. I believe it just didn't go in my direction, and I had a bearish bias, but it ended up being an up day either way, so I don't understand why. I think I got in without waiting for a fair value gap to form, and I got mad at myself for not sticking to my trade strategy. Either way, it would have ended up stopping me out, so I got out before it stopped me out. It was around this area that I got in. I saw a break structuring to the upside, so I'm like, let me set a buy, and I had my targets on this side with my London session highs and London session lows, so I thought if it goes up and breaks structure, is going to end up going in my favor. It started going down. It was heading towards my stop loss, so I was like, let me get out of this, restart. So I didn't really count that as a trade, even though it was a trade, and I'm not going to be doing that with the live account. But I ended up losing $37.23. I don't have a screenshot for that trade, and the glitch also got me on Tuesday, which ended up being a winning trade. So I was actually 2 for 1, which I shouldn't have done, but I saw a good setup at the end of the day, and I knew it was going to end up going down, which is the only reason why I took the 3rd trade. But it ended up being a good trade either way. I'm going to show the screenshot, but this is the screenshot right here. This is the first trade, which ended up being good for $1,003.33, which was a very good trade, honestly. I want to show you guys my ranges first. I have my London session ranges, which was like I always do, and I do this every day just to mark out the London session. Then I look for the highs and the lows of that session, which is the high right here. That is the high of that session, and the low of that session was right here. As you can see right here, this is the London session. I saw that it swept the liquidity down here below the low of the London session, down here around the 815 candle. As soon as that happened, I was waiting to see if it wanted to keep going lower or if it was going to end up going higher. Once I saw that it didn't want to go lower, and I saw it break structure to the upside above this candle when it closed at the 930 candle, I got in right here. My stop loss was at 142.328, and my take profit was exactly at the high of the London session, which ended up being a 2.77 risk to reward ratio trade and being a $1,000 trade. So I was happy, and I was going to be done for the day because technically I already had my 2 setups, right? At the end of the day, I saw another setup, but this was the other trade which the glitch got me on. So I got in right here after this fair value gap had formed, which it wasn't a big fair value gap, honestly, but as you can see, it did create a fair value gap, and this was the trade. It was a 1.68 risk to reward ratio, but it ended up stopping me out because of the glitch. It never went up there in price, as you can see, and it hit my take profit, so I'm gonna count it as a winning trade either way. I believe I was just trying to get back the $300, which is bad on my part, but I'm gonna count it. I ended up losing the money because of the glitch, but I'm gonna count it as a winning trade. As you can see later on, it ended up creating this big gap and going up into the upside, but I can't be mad. It was a winning trade at the end of the day, and like I said, I was learning from these mistakes. But let's move on to the next trade, which I had a very good trade on Wednesday. So this is the trade on Wednesday. Like always, I'm gonna mark out my London session just so I can get the highs and the lows. Now let's find the highs, which was this, because liquidity will always be sitting above the highs and the lows. I ended up sitting through this consolidation early in the morning, and at exactly 10:15 I saw this displacement on the downside, which created a fair value gap. After I saw the fair value gap form, I always mark it out with my square. The next candle got right into that fair value gap, exactly where I needed to, and then headed to the downside. So this was the trade. I had a 2.4 risk to reward ratio after I saw that fair value gap, and I got in perfectly, honestly. I got at the top right before it started going to the downside on that 1045 candle, and it was very simple because I was bearish on that day. This is my setup. This is what I always look for, and ended up being a almost $4,000 trade. And exactly once I saw another fair value gap form, I was like, okay, this is definitely gonna keep going down and head towards my take profit, because I had broken structure on the 1015 candle, breaking this last low right here and sweeping the liquidity that was sitting below the London session lows. Ended up being a perfect execution, and I got in and out of the market. And I believe in the morning during the consolidation, I had a small trade that I ended up losing $300 on because I was trying to figure out what the bias was, because it was in that consolidation. Like I said, I have to improve in my consolidation trading, or at least recognizing a consolidation. It's very easy because all I have to do is wait for displacement and a sweep of liquidity, and I will be fine. I just have to be a lot more patient when it comes to trading in my live account. And then for the last day, because I didn't trade on Friday, I just didn't see a setup that I liked, and in the afternoon there was no volume, there was no movement at all. So I was just like, I'm not gonna trade for this day, and I'm actually gonna show you because I ended up missing the setup because of one point, but I didn't trade on that day. So the screenshot for Thursday has already came up. I had one trade on Thursday and I didn't know if it was gonna be the last day I was able to trade, which in hindsight was the last day I was gonna trade, but I decided to risk a little bit more on Thursday because I was trying to finish the week strong, and it ended up biting me in the butt. But either way, this is what trading is. As you can see here, a lot of movement on Thursday. I had my ranges like I always do from 2 to 5, identify the lows and the highs, which ended up being this right here. I saw this fair value gap form. Heading towards the sell side liquidity on the New York session from the London session. It ended up going a little bit lower, so I thought, okay, it's gonna be like the day before and just gonna keep going lower, since I had a bearish bias that day as well. I knew that there was some news at 10:45. It was, I believe, in the orange folder, so it wasn't very high impact news, but it ended up doing enough to move the market and stop me out. I saw this fair value gap form right here. I don't want to delete this stuff because I'm using this for my current trading right now, but I'll just show you. I had this fair value gap right here, and I was waiting for it to at least try to come into it on these next few candles at 10:15 and at 10, but it never got into it at 10:15, and I saw it go all the way down here and create another fair value gap. So by the time it was 10:45, I saw it create this big candle, and it went straight past the fair value gap that it had formed on the 10:15 candle. So I said, let me just wait and see what ends up happening. It ended up coming into this fair value gap from the 9:45 candle, and from there I thought it was gonna go down, but I should have noticed that so much movement and so much volume just meant that it was gonna be displacement, and this was just manipulation on this side to end up going on the upside for the rest of the day. But now I know that if I see this big of a move up towards a fair value gap, it's probably gonna just keep going up in that direction instead of reversing all the way back down, because that is a lot of movement up. But it ended up stopping me out, and I lost about 2,000 that day, keeping me in about $1,000 profit for the week. And I'm not mad. Hey, you need to value money, because $1,000 is $1,000, and I'll take it. So now that we're clear, let me just delete this so I can show you the monstrosity that ended up happening on Friday. Even though I didn't take a trade that day, I was just upset because of the way it ended up setting up. But as you can see, my 2 to 5 on Friday ended up having my buy side liquidity and my sell side liquidity. I noticed that it got very close to taking the liquidity on the buy side from the London session, but it never did. I was waiting to see what was going to end up happening. Right after the 9:30 candle, it ended up forming a fair value gap, which you can see right here marked out by this, and I was waiting for it to come in. And as you can see at 10:30, it looks like it just touched. And if you trade this pair, you understand that usually it pushes a little bit more into the fair value gap before all the way before reversing all the way, which was what I was waiting for. But as you can see, I'm going to zoom in here. The top of this candle, which is the bottom half of the fair value gap, was exactly at 141,494. So I'm waiting for it to go up at least a little bit higher than that so that I can see it execute, and then I have my trade and then target the lows of this, which probably would have been the target that I would have had, or at least the top of this, because the market always moves towards an imbalance or towards where sitting liquidity is at. So that would have been a perfect setup. If I would have got in on this trade, I'm just going to show you right here. If I would have got in, probably would have had my stop loss above this high, and then have my take profit either down here at this fair value gap, which would have been a horrible trade. Now that I'm noticing, either way, it would have been a horrible trade, but it would have gone in my favor and I wouldn't have been mad at all. But it ended up not doing that, because I'll show you here, the high of this candle was 141,494 and the fair value gap was 141,494, which was literally exact. I was just waiting for one more pip to get in there and never got in there, and I was just waiting for the candle to go a little bit higher so I could get some confirmation, maybe go up above the 50% mark on the fair value gap, and it would have been a lot better. But I can't be mad. I didn't lose or win any money. It would have been a winning trade, but that's the reason why I didn't trade on Friday. But that is going to conclude this video, and drum roll please. At the end of the month, through the ups and downs, at the end of the month, I ended with $41,094.46 of profit, and I am very happy for that. In 4 weeks, I ended up with $41,000 profit. Would have been more if there was a lot more volume in the markets, and if I didn't make as many mistakes as I did. But like I said, I'm happy that I made those mistakes because I learned from them. This concludes this video. Thank you for sticking to the end. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, man. Let's make Instagram go crazy. But this is the start of the new series. This is where I'm gonna turn $1,000 into $10,000, and you're gonna follow along for the whole ride. The ups and downs, the wins and losses. I'm gonna document it all, document my progress, and see how far I can end up taking this. But the market is closed today on the 1st. The first trade will happen tomorrow on the 2nd of January. I'm going to finish this up right now. I'm editing the current video that I have to upload, which is the trades from last week. And I'm sorry about that. That video was a little bit all over the place because I ended up recording so late after I had traded. And this video was a little bit similar, but I remembered it a little bit more. Apart from that, I'm going to do my market analysis because it's go time. I am going to start this whole new week. Thankfully, the markets will return back to regular conditions. No more bad volume like we've been having because of the holidays. It's all over, but this is the start of something great. So thank you for following along, and if you stayed this far in this video, thank you so much, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.